Phil Twyford.
For snoring.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. It's my pleasure to contribute to this third reading of the Governor-General Bill. Labor is supporting this bill. It's I think, quite a non-controversial bill that streamlines the financial arrangements for the Office of the Governor-General. It brings in an element of transparency, and the new arrangements are clearer and simpler. The bill will also modernise some of the language that's found in the parts of the Civil List Act that deal with the Office of the Governor-General. It's our view, sir, I think it's on the record now, that we believe it's no longer appropriate for the Governor-General to be exempt from paying income tax, and that's an important piece of symbolism, I think, in modernising the office, and it carries with it the symbolism that the Governor-General is the first among equals, if you like, in New Zealand, and the idea that we're all equal under the law. The origins of this bill are in a request by the former Labor government to the Law Commission to consider the arrangements surrounding the Office of the Governor-General and make recommendations on how they can be modernised and improved. And we are pleased that the findings and recommendations of the Royal Commission are being implemented in full. So, as my colleague David Parker said, we welcome the progress of this bill, and there's a number of things that I think it's worth mentioning in this third reading speech that the bill achieves. The question of the definition of family isn't clear in the current legislation, but in this bill, sir, family is now defined as partner or spouse or a child under 18, and that's important in terms of the funding arrangements. The salary of the Governor-General will now be set by the Remuneration Authority, and that's an improvement also. And there's a sum payable after the Governor-General leaves office, and there's been an interesting exchange in the Dominion Post where the Cabinet Secretary wrote into to explain that the change here from a lump sum equivalent to 3 months of the Governor-General's salary that's been doubled now to 6 months is to reflect the removal of the tax exemption. And we saw the political editor of the Dominion Post pointing out that the Cabinet Office had failed to explain how 3 months untaxed pay is roughly equivalent to 6 months taxed pay at a 33% rate. But I don't think there's anybody in this House who begrudges this Governor-General or future Governors-General that payment. Clauses 8 and 9 deal with the annuity for a former Governor-General or spouse payable 6 months after leaving office, and also, sir, the bill provides for the expenses for the Governor-General and their family for fulfilling the duties of office, including travel and so on, and provides legislative authority for that funding. And finally, sir, the Civil List Act has been amended, and this bill establishes a standalone piece of legislation, which I think is appropriate in recognising the importance of the office of the Governor-General. So all that, I think, is good, sir, and satisfactory. This debate, as it's progressed through the stages, has provided a welcome opportunity for some debate and some discussion of the Office of Governor-General of New Zealand in the 21st century. And I'll say again, sir, that Labor welcomes a chance to begin a conversation about the future role of our Governor-General and the future status of our head of state. And Phil Goff and others in the Labor caucus have said that now is the time to be beginning a conversation about our constitutional arrangements, that there are many who believe that the current Queen, Queen Elizabeth II, as popular as she is, occupies such a place in the heart hearts of New Zealanders that nobody really wants to begin, or not many people want to begin, a conversation about shifting to a republic during the Queen's reign, but that there are many who believe that when the current Queen leaves office, dies or abdicates, that would be a time when many New Zealanders would in fact like to have that conversation about our future constitutional arrangements. And Michael Cullen, his intervention recently sparked, I think, a useful public debate about the need to have this conversation in advance of the current Queen's death or abdication. And we may need to, in modernising the arrangements of the Office of Governor-General, it's appropriate that we should be beginning to kick off a conversation about what a true modernisation would look like for the Governor-General and indeed for our head of state. And I'm glad that submitters to the Select Committee came along and proposed that some simple amendments to this bill actually would have modernised it even more than these provisions do, Mr. Speaker. So we believe, as many do, that it is inevitable that New Zealand will become a republic, but there are many in this House and across a number of parties who believe that it's something we should begin to talk about now and not put off into the never-never. So, Sir, Labor supports this bill. It fully implements the recommendations of the Law Commission, and we appreciate the work of officials and the work of the Select Committee in getting the bill to this stage. I suppose the other thing, finally, that I would mention is that the public debate around the comments, the racist and offensive comments made by the broadcaster Paul Henry, really shone the spotlight on the Office of Governor-General at a time when this rather technical and uncontroversial bill was proceeding through the House, and I think stirred up actually quite a useful and healthy debate about how we feel as a nation about the Office of Governor-General and the Office of and the institution of our head of state. And and Paul Henry perhaps inadvertently cut right to the heart of what's important about the Office of Governor-General, and that is that the office, sir, is a symbol of who we are as a nation, who we are as New Zealanders, our sense of national identity. And by attacking in such a nasty and kind of cheap way the current incumbent in Governor-General, Sir Anand Sachinand, and questioning whether or not he looked and sounded like a New Zealander, he stirred up, sir, a real debate about the Office of Governor-General and what it means to us as a nation. Thank you.
Call Keith Locke.